Dear student, today we will talk about some basics of the skull. Skeleton of the head, it is called as the skull. The skull can be divided into two parts. The claviria or brain box is the upper part of the cranium which encloses the brain. Okay? The facial skeleton, this facial skeleton, it constitutes the rest of the skull and includes the mandible. Another term which is used in relation to skull is the cranium. Cranium means skull minus the mandible. Skull minus the mandible, it is called as the cranium. Okay? Now, if we talk about the bones of the skull, skull consists of 28 bones. 28 bones. Claviria or brain case, it is composed of the 14 bones, okay, including 3 paired ear ossicles. Now there are some paired bones in here and some unpaired bones are also present. Now we'll see the paired bones in the claviria or brain case. If we talk about the paired bones, there are the parietal bone. This is the parietal bone, which is a paired bone. This is the temporal bone, which is a paired bone. And as I have told you, 3 paired ear ossicles called as malleus, incus and stapes. Now, what are the unpaired bones which are found in this claviria? They are the frontal bone. This is frontal bone. It is unpaired bone. Posteriorly, we have the occipital bone. Okay. Then we have the sphenoid bone. I have marked the sphenoid bone with the orange color chalk. It's a wing shaped bone. Okay. This is a sphenoid bone, and above the sphenoid lies another unpaired bone, that is ethmoid bone. Okay. Now, if we talk about the facial skeleton, it is composed of 14 bones. Okay. Paired bones in this facial skeleton is the maxilla. This is maxilla. This is maxilla, paired bone. Then zygomatic bone. This is zygomatic bone. This is zygomatic bone, which is a paired bone. Then nasal bone. This nasal bone, it is a paired bone. Okay. Then lacrimal bone is a paired bone. Then this part, so you can see, this is the palate part, palatine bone. Okay. And here lies the another paired bone, that is inferior nasal concha. Inferior nasal concha. Unpaired bones are the mandible and this. You can see this vomer. This is the unpaired bone. Okay. If we talk about the skull joints, the joints in the skull, they are mostly sutures. As you can see, this is suture. These are sutures. Okay. So the joints in the skull, they are mostly sutures, and also a few primary cartilaginous joints and 3 pairs of the synovial joints are present here. 2 pairs of synovial joints, they are present between the ossicles of the middle ear. Okay. and one pair is the largest temporomandibular joint. Okay, this is a synovial joint, temporomandibular joint. This mobile joint permits us to speak, to eat, to drink and laugh. Okay, now we'll talk about the anatomical position of the skull. Skull can be kept in normal anatomical position by two lines or two planes. One is the Reed's base line, another is the Frankfurt's horizontal plane. Okay, Reed's base line, it is a horizontal line which is obtained by joining the infraorbital margin. This is orbit, this is infraorbital margin. So this Reed base line, it is a horizontal line which is obtained by joining this infraorbital margin to the center of this external acoustic meatus. This line, it is called as the Reed's base line. This is external acoustic meatus and center of the external acoustic meatus. Another is the Frankfurt's horizontal plane. Frankfurt's horizontal plane of orientation, it is obtained by joining this infraorbital margin to the upper margin of this upper margin of this external acoustic meatus. This is external acoustic meatus, this is upper margin of the external acoustic meatus. Now, how will you remember this? Okay, to remember that Reed's base line, you can remember a mnemonic that Reed's base line starts with R, which also stands for round. So opening of external acoustic meatus is round. Thus Reed base line passes through the round. Thus Reed base line, it passes through the rounded external acoustic meatus. On the other hand, Frankfurt starts with the F. Okay, F, which also stands for fly. Okay, so fly and anything that has to fly has to be above. Anything that has to fly is to be above. So Frankfurt's horizontal plane, it passes above the external acoustic meatus. This is how you can remember the positioning of this Reed base line and the Frankfurt's horizontal plane. Now, what are the methods to study the skull? When the whole skull it is studied from outside or externally, it is divided into different views. Okay? You can study this whole skull from outside or externally in different views. And what are those views? One is the superior view. The superior view, if you study from this here, superior view, this is called as norma verticalis. Then if you study the skull from posterior view, it is called as the norma occipitalis. Similarly, anterior view is called as the norma frontalis. Lateral view is called as the norma lateralis. Inferior view is called as the norma basialis. The whole skull can be studied from inside also or internally after removing the roof of the clavaria or skull cap. Okay, you can study the internal surface of the cranial wall. This is the internal surface of the cranial wall, and internal surface of the cranial base, which shows a natural subdivision. This base, I'll show you like this. This base, it shows natural subdivisions. Okay, into this part is the anterior part. This part is the anterior part. From here to here, this is the anterior part. It is called as the anterior cranial fossa. This is the middle part, which is called as the middle cranial fossa, and this part, it is called as the posterior cranial fossa. And skull can also be studied as individual bones like mandible, maxilla, it is a separate bone, ethmoid, zygomatic, okay, which you will study in future. Okay, if we talk about the peculiarities of the skull bone, okay, the base of the skull, if we talk about the base of the skull, it ossifies in the cartilage, while the skull cap, it ossifies in membrane. Okay, this skull, it lodges brain, meninges, cerebrospinal fluid, glands like hypophysis cerebri and pineal gland, venous sinuses, special senses like retina of the eyeball, taste bud of the tongue, olfactory epithelium, cochlear and vestibular nerve endings, etc. Okay, some skull bones, they have ear cells in them, and they are called as the pneumatic bones, like this frontal bone, this maxilla. Okay, what is the function of these ear cells? They reduce the weight of the skull, they maintain the humidity of the inspired air, they give resonance to the voice, and these may get infected, resulting in the sinusitis. Okay, and skull bones, they are mostly united by the sutures. Okay, skull also has some foraminas, as you can see here. I'll show you one foramina. Skull also has, this is foramina. Okay, so skull has foraminas for emissary veins, which connect the intracranial venous sinuses with extracranial veins, and these try to relieve the raised intracranial pressure. Okay, infection may reach through this emissary vein into the cranial venous sinuses, as these veins are valveless. Okay, and if we talk about the applied anatomy, the clinical part, clinically the entire of the front of the skull, it is considered to be facial skeleton. It is further divided into three parts. Clinically, if we talk clinically, upper facial skeleton, okay, upper facial skeleton, then the lower facial skeleton, which consists of mandible, okay, this lower facial skeleton, and the middle facial skeleton. It is the complex middle third of the facial skeleton. The region, this middle region, it is of great clinical importance, because the multiple bones constituting this middle region, okay, it is frequently involved in the fractures. Okay, so we have come to the end of the introductory part of the skull. Thank you.